And welcome to the November 5th, 2024 council meeting. It is 7 p.m. and I'm going to call this meeting to order. To get started, we're going to start with our invocation and our pledge allegiance to the flag. Our city attorney is going to lead us in our invocation, and the Girl Scouts from Troop 61001 will recite the pledge allegiance. Please rise, and girls, come up here.
Our Heavenly Father, send down your blessing on this meeting of the City Council. Give the council members a clear sense of duty and lead them to a faithful discharge of the same. Direct them in their deliberations this evening so that all things may be done to the glory of thy name and the welfare of the people of Oldsmar. This we pray.
Amen. Girls?
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job. Thank you so much. Next item on our agenda is our open forum. If you'd like a member of the city staff to follow up on a comment or question made at the meeting, please fill out a comment card at the back table with your contact information and give it to the city clerk. Each speaker will be recognized once and will be limited to a 5-minute comment on any subject that is not scheduled for a public hearing. The open forum will conclude at 7:30. If you have filled out a speaker card, please hand it to the city clerk. Filling out a speaker card is not mandatory, and you will still be given an opportunity to speak. When speaking, please state your name and address for the record. And we have Stephen Nemeth. Are you here, Stephen? Yes. Come on up.
Good evening, council members, fellow citizens. My name is Steve Nemeth. I run Breakfast Express food truck. For the last month, I've been here working 75, 80 hours a week, taking care of people that lost their homes and making sure that they got fed. I signed a lease a couple days ago for 702 St. Petersburg Drive. I was told I can't go there because there is not a law that says I can. There's not a law that says I can't, but there's not a law that says I can. So I'm being told that I will be in violation of code if I open my business. I have devoted so much time to this community. I love this community, and I would love to continue to serve this community. I would like to try to get it addressed and fixed. Like I said, I've already shown that I'm a good member to have in the community, and why I am being told I cannot be here is a little frustrating.
We have your card, and someone from city staff will get back to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for filling this out. Is there anybody else that would like to speak to the city council? Anyone else? Come on up, Sean.
Sean Swager, 601 Spruce Street, Oldsmar. Good evening, Mayor, Council, City staff. I'm happy to share that I'm an announced candidate for Oldsmar City Council, Seat 4, for the upcoming March election. So I have some big shoes to fill, should I be elected. But now more than ever, as you all know, the community needs true, passionate leaders who care about the residents. And as you may or may not have picked up, that's me. So I'm looking forward to it. I've got a lot of work to do. But in any event, just wanted to publicly announce that. And also it is my beautiful bride and I's 8th wedding anniversary. So I'll let you all get to your business, and we're gonna go celebrate. So thank you very much.
The Flamestone, where are you heading?
And it's Hennessy's.
There you go.
I bet you are.
Keep it classy.
Well, congratulations.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing that, and we look forward to your campaign. Is there anybody else who would like to speak to the council? All right, with that, I am going to close the open forum. The next item on our agenda is the community minute, and there will be read by our city clerk, Kristen Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Oldsmarstrong.com for resources, cleanup, and recovery assistance and information pertaining to community efforts. The city has created a specific site that includes these tools and more. Visit oldsmarstrong.com for details. Holiday programs, Santa visit registrations are open now until November 15th at Fire Station 54. And also I wanted to note that at the back of the room, behind the door is flyers from the Oldsmar Support Services Alliance. So we have many things coming up in November, including a community Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving that is available for our residents. So please, those who would like to come out, just grab a flyer, and it will also be available online as well. And there is a RSVP requested. And so again, we have more resources for our impacted residents available in the back. And again, these are all online at oldsmarstrong.com. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that. Next item on our agenda is approval of additional new agenda items, and there's quite a few, so I'm going to get started. 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 24, and 25. I need a motion for approval.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next is consent docket, and that will also be read by our city clerk, Kristen Garcia.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 1, approve minutes of September 24th, 2024 council work session. Item 2, approve minutes of October 1st, 2024 council meeting. Item 3, approve minutes of October 15th, 2024 council meeting. Item 4, approve agreement for IT consulting services, CC 24022. Item 5, approve awarding the purchase of a Freightliner dump truck for stormwater to Orlando Freightliner, Inc. per the pricing terms and conditions of 2024-2025 Florida Sheriff's Association bid number FSA 23 VEH 21.1. Item 6, approve awarding the fire station tile floor replacement project to Mohawk Carpet Distribution LLC under the same pricing terms and conditions as the state of Florida number 080819 MCD LLC contract number 30161700024 SRCWL ACS PB24045CC.
All right, thank you. Does anyone wish to pull any item from the consent docket? I'll entertain a motion.
So moved?
Second?
Motion and a second. Any other discussion on any of these items? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Six zero.
Good job. Good job.
He's into it, that's awesome.
All right, the next item on the agenda is interview applicants for the Library Material Reconsideration Committee. The Library Materials Reconsideration Committee, established by Resolution 2024-31, consists of 5 members, 4 city residents, and the Oldsmar Library Director, Susan Hurley. Tonight, we received 5 applications for the 4 available positions. I'm going to call upon each applicant in alphabetical order, and the first on the agenda is Alicia, I don't want to say it wrong, Castaneda?
Castaneda.
Castaneda, come on up, you're first.
Castaneda.
Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Alicia Castaneda. I live in 1796 Split Fork Drive, Oldsmar, Florida. I'm 24 years old. I also work here at Cryosol International as a research scientist.
Very nice. I saw that you've been a resident of the city of Oldsmar since day one.
Almost 2 years. 2 years
Okay.
old and up, so 22 years.
And so why did you decide to apply for this position?
I'm a big reader. I love I want to get kids into reading more, and I think having better materials and going over what should and should not be in the library is really important for new readers and young adults. And I think I could offer a new perspective, a fresh perspective on what books should and should not be there and what efforts we should put into the library.
Fantastic. Does this council have any questions?
I do.
Volunteer.
Yes, go ahead. Valerie?
Do you use our library? And if you do, how frequently do you use it?
Very frequently. I listen to a lot of audiobooks since I work in a lab. I'm sitting up all day. I read about 24 books every 6 months-ish. So I go through them pretty rapidly, and they're mostly through the Oldsmar library.
Okay, this segues into my next question. What's the last book you read and did you like it?
I'm currently on a book called The Tress of the Emerald Sea. It's a fantasy book. It's a new genre for me. It's really good so far. It is a slower read for me than I'm used to. I'm more of a historical fiction novel person, so that's so far so good.
Okay, great. And then my last question is, what role do you believe our library plays in our community?
A huge role. I think it's a great secondary place for a lot of people. It's not home, it's not work. Somewhere to go after work, somewhere to go after school. It can be a safe haven for a lot of people. So having good materials there, good resources is always really important.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Good job. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you so
out.
much.
All right. Our next applicant would be Andrew Keller. Andrew, welcome. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Andrew Keller, 136 Arlington Avenue West. By the way, Tress of the Emerald Sea, fantastic. I recommended it to my dad a few months ago.
I love this. I love that.
I've been in Oldsmar since 2018. I'm 40, retired from Nielsen. I have 2 little girls, 1 4, 1 2. I know, Valerie, you asked, we go to the library at least twice a week for the story times, that kind of thing. They know us when we go in because we do some homeschooling for our girls. And so we always have a stack of books on hold. And sometimes it's like 20 books. I'll go in and I'm like, I think my wife has a small pile. And they'll come back and it's this massive pile. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. What questions do you guys have for me?
Thank you so much. Great, great. Any questions? Katie, yep.
What interested you about serving on this particular committee?
Yeah, with 2 little girls, it's really important for me to know that they have access to the types of materials that are important for them to grow and develop, discover who they are. I also and my wife and I are avid readers as well. So it's, just seeing that there's this need for the library and taking that ownership, having the time. We're both early retirees from Nielsen. And want to make sure that our time can be spent on things that are important to us and not just ignoring them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask my same questions. What
Yeah.
was the last book you read and did you like it?
Impossible Creatures.
Okay.
I did. It was it was a fast read.
Okay. And then what role do you believe the library plays in our community?
So many. So for me personally, like I said, it's our first place we go for school materials, for enjoyment, for development, for myself, my wife, and our girls. But you just see so many people in there using it for so many different things. I think the library plays a critical role in any community.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I'm just impressed by the I'm 40 and retired part of the whole.
Tell me more.
Yes, please, go on.
What books have you read?
I'd like to subscribe to your newsletter.
And
Yeah.
it's just not him, it's his wife too.
We recommended the book that we used to plan for early retirement to the library. I believe they carry it now.
That's good for you.
We
No,
are
I just
doing
know.
it wrong.
I'm teasing, but very impressed, no, honestly.
What's the name of the book?
It's Millennial Revolution, Quit Like a Millionaire.
Okay. I'm writing that down.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great read. It's
Feverishly
it's
read.
financial for people who aren't finance people.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. We really appreciate you coming out, Andrew.
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yep. All right, next is Kelly O'Brien.
Who?
I've never seen her before.
Me neither, no.
Good evening, Kelly O'Brien, 343 Tavernier Drive, Oldsmar. I am a business owner in Oldsmar. I'm a psychologist. I work with kids and families, and I also work in Tampa at a therapy center. And I'm just a reading lover, and I've done a lot of degrees, so I've done a lot of reading for my career. And so I think I would be able to contribute like a child and teen development aspect possibly, if there are questions about materials in that vein. I have a 12-year-old who you may also know, and we spend a lot of time at the library because she is an Opal, so we're there every Saturday and every Monday, and I feel like it's our second home. But we've also just gone to programs at the library for, since she was very small. And we love Miss Susan and Mr. Anthony and Miss Heidi, and just think it's a wonderful place for kids to go and families.
Great. Any questions for Kelly?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask the same ones. You know it's coming. What was the last book you read, and did you like it?
Well, I have to admit that I'm a person that has lots of books open at one time, and some of them don't get read to the end.
Right.
So I have organizing books that I have right now. I just got Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, which I read in college, but I wanted to revisit that. And then I get like criminal books that are really fluff, like Polly Harmon Investigates and things like that, just for, some entertainment that's not too taxing on my mind.
And then what role do you believe the library plays in our community?
Huge. I mean, just a developmental center for kids, a meeting place for family and friends, a meeting place for the arts and different programs and, authors and so much. And it's like a central part of the community, I feel, that needs to be supported. So I just would love to give back to that.
Thank you.
Great. Okay.
Okay.
Councilmember Gannon, go ahead.
Thank you. Kelly, well, I should say Dr. O'Brien. How can access to a diverse variety of reading materials or written, audio materials or whatever we have at the library contribute to childhood development?
Yeah, so much. Obviously, people of varying income levels and different backgrounds and so forth are all even at the library. And so they're able to access nonfiction to learn and fiction to grow. And so I just feel like that's a place where everybody can come and learn and also feel part of the community with the programs. And I think that's so important for youth and teens, is that community feel.
Thank you, Kelly.
All right. Thank you so much.
you.
Thanks for coming out, guys. Next, we have Tom O'Shea. Welcome, Tom.
Tom O'Shea, 208 Lake Charles Court. I've been here in Oldsmar for 9 years. I love it here. Reason why I'm on the committee is I really love reading. I read like 46 books last year. I'm working my way through the Greater Foundation series, so I'm on the foundation end of it now. I just finished Prelude to the Foundation. I'm in Forward to the Foundation now. That's so good. I love sci-fi. Yeah. Any questions?
Okay, any questions for Tom? You want to
Um,
ask your questions, pal?
Did you mention how frequently do you use our library? And
I
how
do use our
frequently?
library. I'm there all the time, pretty much. I actually stopped by on the way before here to drop off my last book.
Great. And then what role do you believe the library plays in our community?
I would say a community wouldn't exist without a library because you need a foundation of knowledge and community, like people coming together and something to go to and entertainment at least.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, our last applicant is Zoe Sock. Zoe, are you here? Okay. Then we have to vote.
Or
What?
do we? If there's only the 4 applicants who are present, just make the
To
motion.
keep it fair, I mean,
I guess it's open to discussion. We could
Because
make the
they,
motion to approve the 4, I
they
believe.
did, Zoe did apply.
Yeah.
Do we know why Zoe couldn't make it tonight, or do we know?
I do not know. We reached out to her and she did not confirm being able to attend tonight.
Okay,
I mean, we've done it previously with other committees when the applicant couldn't be here, and we've postponed those appointments. So we could do it that way, I suppose, or since the 4 are here and we're looking for 4, we could do that motion to approve the 4, I believe. Is that correct, Tom?
why don't we do that? Vice Mayor, you want to entertain a motion to approve the
I
4?
would love to entertain it, but also make it, if everyone else would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll second the entertainment.
Okay.
Did you have some discussion?
Go to
Yeah, I
second,
was just going to ask a question. Do we know if there's a chance that did you send an email or was that a phone call? Do we know if there's a chance the email went to her junk mail and she didn't know, or
I believe we emailed her. I do not know if we also called her. We would have also emailed her the first time, and I believe she was confirmed for the first time. Because this
Gotcha, okay.
appointment was postponed due to the hurricanes.
Okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't a situation where an email wasn't received.
And we don't have alternate, no, it's fine. I just want to discuss it, like, because we have other boards with alternate members, but we don't have that set up for this board,
Not on this
correct?
board.
We would
I
probably,
actually, yeah, I asked that question about an alternate because
Yeah.
it obviously has to be an uneven number in case there's an occasion where something needs to be voted upon. But in our enacting ordinance, it was in the ordinance that there would be 4 members of the public and the library director.
there's no mention of an alternate.
There's
so
no
we'd have to
mention of it.
Modify
We'd have to
that.
modify the ordinance to create an alternate.
Well, we have the motion in the second. If we have further discussion, I don't want to take it away from Zoe if wasn't able to make it. However, we have 4 out of 5. So, I mean, it's just, the vote wouldn't be necessary regardless tonight, I guess is my point, right? Because we have the 4, unless we voted for Zoe sight unseen. But without having the applicant process, we instituted that for a reason, I guess is my point.
I feel comfortable moving forward at this point. I just wanted to make sure I was clear that an email response was received the first time, so it wasn't like sitting in junk mail or something like that.
So are there any other comments before I make a comment? So I just want to make one comment. All 4 applicants, I personally thought you guys did an amazing job, and I think you're going to be a great team together on this committee. So we have a motion on the floor, and we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Congratulations to all 4 of you, and welcome to our team.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for volunteering.
Yes, yep. The newest committee. Next on our agenda is our city attorney, Tom Trask. Tom, what do you got today?
I got nothing tonight, thank you.
You got the night off?
Oh,
All right.
see
No,
ya.
you can't go. All right. Next is item 8, and that is the presentation of the rebuilding process for the substantial damage. And this will be presented by Felicia Donnelly, our city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to invite Tatiana Childress, Planning and Redevelopment Director, to the lectern to give a presentation. This presentation was previously given at the informational meetings on October 30th and November 2nd, with the exception, I think, of one slide that we've updated. So Tatiana, it's all yours.
Yes, good evening. Thank you. Tatiana Childress, City of Oldsmar Planning and Redevelopment Director. And as Felicia mentioned, this is just an informational presentation of the same meetings that were last week. And we'll just jump into it. So the first slide is, what is the NFIP? And the National Flood Insurance Program, established under the National Flood Insurance Act of 1968, that helps mitigate financial risk for property owners and renters through flood insurance. In exchange, participating communities adopt floodplain management regulations to reduce future flood damage. The City of Oldsmar joined the NFIP in 1971, and we are referring as the participating community. We agreed to comply with Title 44 of the Code of Federal Regulations, which specifies the minimum requirements for structure protection. We also participate in the CRS with the higher regulatory standards. If participating jurisdictions become non-compliant with NFIP standards, federal regulations require FEMA to place them under probation, or the NFIP may suspend the jurisdiction from the program entirely. These actions come with potentially severe consequences, as seen recently in other counties and municipalities impacted by Hurricane Ian in 2022. And those consequences are, so Oldsmar NFIP policyholders, those with mortgages from banks regulated by federal entities, or those with citizens insurance policy, would need to either purchase private flood insurance if available, or secure a loan from non-federally regulated bank that does not require flood coverage or face foreclosure. Homeowners within the FEMA's special flood hazard area cannot sell their homes to buyers who intend to use a mortgage from a federally regulated bank, work with a mortgage company that requires flood coverage, or insure their homes with a citizen's policy. If a project is located within the special flood hazard area, the city would need to return funds received through the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. Additionally, the city or the county would not be eligible to apply for future grants, such as from HUD, for projects located within the special flood hazard area. And local community, this slide just explains briefly what local community floodplain management functions are. So floodplain management is a community-based effort to reduce the risk of flooding. Other groups that contribute to this floodplain management include zoning, building codes, and code enforcement. Additionally, we have our Public Works Department that oversees technical services and capital improvement projects that support these activities. The key activities include implementing flood loss reduction, updating flood maps, plans, and policies, insurance regulatory compliance, adhering to the NFIP Florida Building Code and other regulations, maintaining records. We keep record documentation for NFIP and CRS eligibility, reviewing projects, evaluating those floodplain-related projects for compliance, coordinating efforts, working with county departments, advisory boards, and the public. The next, these slides will cover one of the minimum floodplain management standards and requirements for participation in FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program is substantial damage assessment, or SDA process, as we refer to it. The substantial improvement, substantial damage information is located in this desk reference, FEMA P-758. We do have a book in planning and redevelopment, so we can share that with public. It's also accessible online as a PDF version. So what is substantial damage assessment? So the SDA process is used to determine whether a structure has sustained significant damage due to flooding or other disasters. As a basic rule, a building is considered substantially damaged if the cost of repairs is equal to or greater than 50% of the building's market value before the damage has occurred. Local officials are responsible for performing this assessment to ensure compliance with floodplain management ordinances and the NFIP requirements. And in Oldsmar, we have higher regulatory standards, so that threshold is actually at 49% instead of 50%. This slide just explains the process. It's a little bit complicated. City of Oldsmar currently operates under an interlocal agreement with Pinellas County for building services, and we've been under this agreement since 2021, so this is not a new thing. This service includes substantial damage inspections, and every property affected by flooding or wind damage post-storm must be inspected before a repair permit is issued in the special flood hazard area. The steps here outlined in green, they demonstrate the effort that's been already initiated or in the process. And also, some properties have been already inspected, so some property owners may have the stickers on their windows, which shows that an inspector from Pinellas County already inspected their home. We're still waiting at this point for the final report, so while the field data is almost done for the entire county, including Oldsmar, that field data then needs to be processed, so they input that information into the substantial damage estimator, which is a tool provided by FEMA. Then that process goes through the quality control, QC control in Pinellas County. EOC, they're still activated as EOC. The county will eventually provide to us the inspection reports, and those reports will need to be then evaluated by our local community because we have the cumulative, higher cumulative, and then we'll issue the reports to the homeowners. So that's just an outline of substantial damage assessment process. We do have a couple of options for the residents at this point to expedite this process, though. This following slide just kind of like summarizes everything. So as I mentioned, we do have the 5-year cumulative, our substantial damage, substantial improvement. The 50% rule that everybody refers to is actually a 49% rule. The 5-year cumulative, it's a look back. We'll look at the older permits that were pulled on the property. So these permits go with your property, not with the current owner. And those permits are usually included from the last inspection completed on that permit. So all properties below the design flood elevation, DFE, within the special flood hazard area, they must complete a substantial damage improvement form. A current elevation certificate, we commonly refer to them as ECs, is required to confirm this determination. You can look, if you're not familiar with this elevation certificate, you can look in your title documents when you purchase the house. So typically, it will be stapled to your survey, and it will be in the title, within the title docs in your folder from your closing. The next item here is a consideration by zone. As you know, since 2021, in Oldsmar, we have new zones, or the zones that were not there on the prior map. So that's our coastal A zone, CAS zone, and also high velocity zone. Those were defined on the new maps, and we have higher standards in those zones. So if properties are damaged within the coastal A zone and those homes are currently slab on grade foundations, if determined substantially damaged, those properties will not be able to rebuild as AE standards. So they will have to be pilings or piers. So it's different type of construction that's only in the high velocity zone. Just wanted to mention it there. Procedures, so please contact the Planning and Redevelopment Department to initiate your application, to expedite your application. The phone number is here, 813-749-1142, or you can email us at building@oldsmarfl.gov. You can also fill out the cost estimate and other paperwork that's provided to you. We have a couple of copies here in the packet. To determine where your market value is today, you can look up at the property appraiser's website for reference. They have what they call a FEMA letter, so it just shows you the market value of your home, then you divide it by 50, or you calculate the 49% of that market value, and that's the number that you will be working with. If you're not happy with the appraisal, with the Mike Tweedy's appraisal determination, so you can also order a private appraisal. And the steps to secure the private appraisal, they're based on the actual cash value. We have a checklist in our office, so when you hire a private appraiser, please distribute that checklist. So it has to be addressed to, for this 50% rule, basically determination, and not just for the purchase of the home, with some other check marks. This is just a slide to remind how we calculate this. So it's the cost of improvement or cost of repair to pre-damage condition divided by the market value of the building, and it must be greater or less than 49%. The slide just demonstrates cumulative. We have a lot of questions on how we calculate cumulative based on the current market value, say in 2018. So it is a percentage based, and this slide demonstrates the 6-year. So you can see that here they carried over based on as current market value increases, then the percentage is also increasing. And next, this was just a reminder for those that do have enclosures below the BFE, below base flood elevation. Those could be only used for parking, building, access, and storage. So we did have a situation at Seaside Estate. So we may have another meeting with the Seaside Estate community just to remind them that those areas are really, they're free of obstruction requirements, and they may need breakaway walls and flood vents, and we shouldn't be covering those flood vents, so they actually do work as seen during the storm. This slide just summarized everything. So while tempted to not conduct any work on your home without a permit, and if permits are not issued for work, you may have to take the work out, costing even more money. You may face code enforcement actions, lose ability to participate in the flood insurance. So right now you have options. The first option is just wait for the substantial damage assessment determination letter to be completed. We don't know the exact date, but I know that county is expediting those inspections, and we do meet with them several times a day. A week. It seems like several times even a day with different groups. So they are trying to expedite to help. The second option, and we discussed this during the meeting, so if you had less than 12 inches of water in your house and your electrical was not affected, so you may be able to submit some photos to demonstrate that you're under 12. At that point, we will process this application as a normal substantial improvement, so you will still have to fill out the cost estimate And you will still have to get our approval. We'll call it a staff review form, at which point we'll be able to provide you that approval letter, and you will be able to go to Pinellas County to pull your building permit, whether owner builder permit or from a licensed contractor. So also, as I mentioned before, if you feel like your market value on the property appraiser's website is not accurate, you can secure an independent appraisal, meeting the checklist of requirements that needs to be from the licensed appraiser in Florida. To expedite the substantial damage process, you can also fill out the application for construction in floodplain. We have the floodplain substantial improvement disclosure form and the cost breakdown, itemized cost breakdown. And with that, I'll take any questions.
All right.
Thank
you
you.
very much, Tatiana. Any questions for staff? All right.
Yeah, Tatiana, just with the property appraiser's market value, that's different than a list price, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so it's generally, there's a significant difference between what a list price for a home would be versus what the actual market value of the home would show on the property appraiser's website, right?
That's right. So the land is excluded typically.
Correct. Okay, just wanted to make sure that was known, because that's always one of the trickier things when you're dealing with list price of homes and you're dealing with actual market value per the property appraiser when it comes to millage, when it comes to the FEMA rules and that sort of thing. I just want to make sure that was stated, but no questions. I just wanted to make sure that that was clear.
Anything else for staff? Go ahead, Councilmember.
Thank you, Tatiana, for the presentation, and thank you for continuing to provide updated information, as it sounds like information is updated from the county daily. I've watched a lot of tutorials and a lot of the videos that our city manager provided, including about Cape Coral and the audit that's still going on there, as well as the video from the informational presentation that you all did last week. It sounds like one of the first or best things that folks could do is make that appointment with your office, because everybody has a different situation. Every home is different. Everybody was damaged differently. And it's hard to give one size fits all answers to anyone, as it sounds like. Are you seeing people coming to make those appointments?
Yes, we have a lot of people that would like to meet one-on-one with us to discuss their particular situation. We're also trying to promote if residents would fill out those forms and email those forms to us at Oldsmar, especially the ones that are under 12 inches. So if they can just email completed forms to us, we'll be able to initiate processing those forms. Right now, the same people that are scheduling the appointments are the same people that are reviewing them. We're still waiting for the resources from the state, Pinellas County and the state. As you know, they fulfilled the mission for the inspection, so they received 75 inspectors from the state. They're trying to get additional help to do this second step. But right now, it will be helpful if residents would fill out the forms and transmit those forms to us so that we can assign the application to their case and initiate the review. So.
And I know we have a couple of agenda items tonight to ask the state for more staff, more help, and we have another agenda item to continue to expedite the process as best we can for our
Correct.
residents.
We also trying to get some private consulting firm to help us with the appraisals review and cost estimates.
Yeah, okay. Is oldsmarstrong.com the best website to go to get the most updated information on all of this, or is it the city's website, the building? Like
Both, I think, at this time. So we have information in 2 places. You can also call us, and we can email you all of the fillable forms. So at building@myoldsmar.com or oldsmarfl.gov, we just changed that. Both are working.
Okay, and even though we might not have certain answers, like for example, a lot of people may not know that we don't issue building permits, right? We haven't for a while. So questions about specific building issues, they have to go to the county. But,
Right, so they do have a hotline that they established at Pinellas County Building Division, so residents of Oldsmar could also call that number, and they will provide any building-related questions that residents may have.
And the FAQ section is up and being updated with,
Yes,
good deal. Thank you so much for all your
You're
hard
welcome.
work, and Mandy for her hard work as well.
Councilmember Knapp, you have any questions or any
No question.
comments? Anybody else? Thank you so much for the presentation and the information and keeping the residents informed. And thank you to Felicia for all your hard work too.
sure.
Thank you very much for that presentation. Item 9. Item 9.
Item number 9 is consider a memorandum of understanding between the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the City of Oldsmar, and Pinellas County as it relates to Federal Declaration DR-4828-FL Hurricane Helene. The attached MOU is between the FDIM, Pinellas County, and the City of Oldsmar establishes the framework for implementing Section 1206 of the Disaster Recovery Reform Act. The section provides federal funding to enhance post-disaster recovery efforts through mitigation measures and permanent infrastructure repairs. The MOU clarifies the roles and responsibilities for each party, with FDIM assuming the legal responsibility for floodplain management, building code administration, and substantial damage assessments in Oldsmar. The city is obligated to coordinate and collaborate with FDIM and the county to support these activities, provide relevant information, and ensure compliance with local regulations. City will work closely with FDIM to facilitate disaster recovery operations without interfering with FDIM's authority in code enforcement or contracting. City attorney has reviewed and staff recommends approval of this MOU to ensure a coordinated and compliant approach. The MOU is attached. Staff recommends approval.
All right, thank you. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from anybody?
This is one of those, we talked about this earlier today, this is one of those asks to the state for help. Hopefully, they will hear us.
Yeah, so just to expand on that a little, we have requested resources from the state, so this interlocal agreement supports that request.
Yes, thank you. And Felicia and I talked about it too, and I think we all have in our one-on-ones with her.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much for keeping us updated and your staff. Thank you so much. I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 11.
Item
I'm
number
sorry, 10.
Item number 10 is consider a memorandum of understanding between the Florida Division of Emergency Management, City of Oldsmar, and Pinellas County as it relates to Federal Declaration DR-4834-FL Hurricane Milton. And so this is the exact same MOU, but just for Milton. So staff recommends approval, and the city attorney has reviewed the MOU.
Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now item 11.
Item under 11 is adopt resolution 2024-49, temporarily waiving the permit fees for fences and the plan review fees for flood reviews and zoning review, and the fee schedule adopted in resolution 2024-38 for a period of 180 days. On September 24th, the governor of the state of Florida declared a state of emergency for Pinellas County in response to the dangers posed by Hurricane Helene. The declaration was followed by a local state of emergency where significant damages were recorded, impacting both public and private infrastructure and properties. In response to the widespread damage caused by Hurricane Helene, city staff has proposed temporarily waiving specific fees to assist residents and businesses in their recovery efforts. The proposed resolution aims to provide financial relief by waiving the permit fee for fences and the plan review fees related to flood and zoning reviews. The purpose of this item is to seek approval from the city council. The fees that are going to be, that are proposed to be waived include a $50 permit fee for fences, $75 plan review fee for flood review, $30 plan review fee for zoning review. I'll read the resolution by title only. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, temporarily waiving the permit fee for fences and the plan review fees for flood review and zoning review in the planning and redevelopment fee schedule adopted under Resolution 2024-38 for a period of 180 days, beginning September 27, 2024, and providing for an effective date hereof. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you very much for this, for the citizens. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Any other discussion from the council?
Just glad to see this on here. I'm glad we can provide even a little bit of relief.
So if your fence got blown over, the fee will be waived if they apply for the permit.
That is true.
Thank you very much. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 12.
Item number 12 is approve and authorize the city manager to execute the State of Florida Division of Emergency Management Public Assistance Subgrant Agreement Z4267, which supports DR 4806 Hurricane Debby, federal and state reimbursement for expenses incurred during Hurricane Debby. On August 5th, 2024, Hurricane Debby struck the state of Florida. The city of Oldsmar, by and through its actions in preparation for, response during, and cleanup after the event, incurred considerable expenses, which are eligible for reimbursement through FEMA and the Florida Division of Emergency Management, programs that are authorized by their respective governments to assist public agencies in reimbursing some of the costs associated with emergency response. The attached agreement is the basis for the overarching reimbursement program and provides a partial reimbursement for jurisdiction-wide emergency protective measures, as well as citywide debris removal. Subsequent amendments may be submitted in future council agendas if required. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you very much. I will entertain a motion for approval.
So moved?
Second.
Any other discussion on this item?
It's just wild. We're talking about 3 different hurricanes.
Yeah.
It's just-
Yeah. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 13.
Item number 13 is to approve an interlocal agreement with Pinellas County for the cooperative procurement of disaster debris collection and removal services and disaster debris monitoring and management services. During hurricane events and other emergencies, significant debris is generated which exceeds the capacity of the city's normal solid waste collection. City staff lacks the equipment and manpower to restore the city to working order in a reasonable amount of time. A debris collection and removal contractor is utilized for these services. On May 2nd, 2023, the City Council adopted an interlocal agreement with Pinellas County for the cooperative procurement of disaster debris and collection and removal services, RFP number 22-0617-PAJM, and disaster debris monitoring and management services, RFP 22-0601-PJJ. On October 7, 2024, the state of Florida issued RFP H7129 for disaster debris removal within Florida Department of Transportation District 7, which includes Pinellas County. The state contract unit price for loading and hauling vegetative debris from the right-of-way to the debris management site, called the DMS, is $14.98 per cubic yard, compared to loading and hauling of vegetative debris at $7.68 per cubic yard under the county contract, and the state contract unit price for loading and hauling construction and demolition debris, we call it C&D, from the right-of-way to the DMS is $18 per cubic yard, compared with $7.68 per cubic yard for C&D collection and hauling under the county contract. On October 13th, the state of Florida FDIM issued DM order number 24-014, which among other things required the parties to conduct debris removal around the clock for the first 90 days or until the debris mission is complete, whereas the county contract provided for a 12-hour workday absent approval from a debris manager. I just wanted to make a note that our debris is wrapping up, our debris collection is wrapping up well within the time frame. As a result, the county and the municipalities are unable to maintain disaster debris collection and hauling under the county contract. Therefore, on October 14th, the county undertook a competitive emergency solicitation for disaster debris removal. The agreement, solicitation and resulting contract culminated in this interlocal agreement, allowing the city of Oldsmar to enter into an agreement with the awarded vendors for debris hauling and monitoring. In order to receive FEMA reimbursement, significant effort must be taken to ensure that the debris contractors are paid correctly and federal funds are stewarded properly. Since the funds are typically reimbursable by FEMA, the cost to remove debris can be significant. Debris monitoring and management services are typically contracted. In accordance with the city's procurement code, and in particular Section 2-109B, during declared emergencies, a contract can be issued to address emergency conditions and the purchase presented to the council for ratification after the emergency conditions have ceased. Accordingly, Crowder Gulf Joint Venture, vendor awarded one of the cooperative contract, is currently being used in the ongoing efforts to mitigate and recover from both Helene and Milton. Thus, this agenda item requests approval of utilization of the county contract and ratification of the purchase will be presented at council at the conclusion of the emergency condition. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion.
Moved.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item from anyone? Thank you again for the hard work,
I know.
getting that garbage picked up,
Yeah.
hauled away. Thank you so much for you taking care of all that. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We are on item 14.
Item 14 is to ratify the issuance and termination of emergency purchase order Hurricane Helene debris collection services and terminate agreement with Southern Disaster Recovery LLC. The city entered into a disaster debris collection and removal services on March 26, 2024 with Southern Disaster Recovery, SDR, under the pricing terms and conditions of the Pinellas County Cooperative Contract 22-0617-P dated February 28, 2023. On September 29th, an emergency purchase order 29964 was issued to SDR for mobilization of resources to assist the city with debris collection and removal services as a result of Hurricane Helene. Both the city and SDR have expressed their mutual desire to terminate the agreement, the associated notice to proceed, the purchase order pursuant to paragraph 5 of the agreement, and paragraph 8 of the county agreement. Approval of this agenda item will ratify and terminate the emergency purchase order issued on September 29th and authorize the termination of the agreement between the city and SDR. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Katie, God bless you, by the way. All right, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on getting rid of these guys? All right, thank you very much. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 15.
Item number 15, approve the comprehensive disaster recovery management consulting services with Tetra Tech per the same pricing terms and conditions as the Pinellas County Cooperative Contract 178-0406-P CC 25-004. The Comprehensive Disaster Recovery Management Services contract provides for assistance in strategically managing the project development and administration of various federal and state disaster programs related to declared emergencies. Such programs may include FEMA Public Assistance and FEMA Hazard Mitigation programs. This contract was drafted by the county and intended to be inclusive of and available for all municipalities in the county to utilize as well. In accordance with the city's procurement code, in particular Section 2-109B, during declared emergencies, a contract can be issued to address emergency conditions in the purchase presented to council for ratification after the emergency conditions have ceased. Accordingly, Tetra Tech, Inc., a vendor awarded under this cooperative contract, is currently being used in the ongoing efforts to mitigate and recover from Helene and Milton. Thus, the agenda item requests approval of the utilization of the cooperative contract and ratification of the purchase will be presented to council at the conclusion of the emergency condition. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
In a second, any other more discussion? No?
Keep on
Plugging away?
Going.
Yeah, it's just,
Drink of water.
You're doing great.
Just
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 16.
Item 16 is approved use of the professional services agreement with MT Causely LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Safe Built LLC for emergency events such as Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, and as needed, supplemental code enforcement, substantial damage concurrence, and floodplain review services under the same pricing terms and conditions of the Village of Key Biscayne 2024-04A, PB 25-002. The city plans to contract with MT Clausley LLC, a wholly owned subsidiary of Safe Built, for as-needed services and using the piggyback contract from the Village of Key Biscayne. This approach allows the city to utilize an existing contract to quickly and efficiently secure necessary services, especially during and immediately after emergency events. The focus is on two main categories: post-hurricane disaster damage assessment and general planning, permitting, and code enforcement services. The as-needed services include damage assessment requiring specialized certifications from FEMA and the Florida Building Code, and assistance with permitting, planning, and FEMA ISO visits, such as those for Hurricane Helene and Milton. Additionally, general code enforcement services will address reactive and obvious violations, including the evaluation of homes with potential structural damage, which may require code changes before enforcement, such as minimum exterior maintenance standards and minimum housing standards. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion on this?
Get help, let's get help, let's get help.
Yeah.
And we're not going to use them unless we need them, correct?
I hope we use them.
We are hoping to use them until other resources become
Okay.
available.
Yeah, unless the state sends somebody else
All right.
faster.
Because I looked at their resume, very impressive,
Yeah.
very impressive. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 17.
Item 17 starts a new portion of the city manager section of the agenda, not related to hurricanes.
Really?
Oh, you haven't been busy at all.
Here comes the charitable donation allocations. So item number 17 is approve agreement with Holiday Sharing Fund for charitable donation allocation of $3,000 for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 18.
Item 18 is approve the agreement with Maddie Williams Neighborhood Family Center for charitable donation allocation of $25,000 for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion to approve.
I moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 19.
Item 19 is approve the agreement with Neighborly Care Network for charitable donation allocation of $6,136 for fiscal year 24-25. I think it is important to note that all of these were discussed at the work session on June 25th, 2024, and was included as part of the budget. So,
Yes. And we all talked about it, and we all approved them back then. So for item 19, I need a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion in the second, any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 20.
item number 20 is approve agreement with Oldsmar Cares, Inc. for charitable donation allocation of $27,000 for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any other discussion on that?
Thank you to Kristen Garcia, our incredible clerk, for organizing all of the applications, all of these contracts, and all of the investigation, and all of the follow-up for all of these donations.
Absolutely. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 21.
Item 21 is approve the agreement with Oldsmar Friends of the Arts for charitable donation allocation of $7,000 for fiscal year 24-25.
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion on that? Vice Mayor?
Nothing from me, no.
Okay.
I'm having a ball tonight.
We're moving right along.
Fun night, we're just moving.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 22.
Item 22 is approve agreement with the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Education, the Education Foundation for charitable donation allocation of $2,000 for fiscal year 24-25.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Moved.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. 23.
23 is approve agreement with the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce special event support for charitable donation allocation of $15,000 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you for all your presentation and all that. You got through it. I'll entertain a motion to approve that last one.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion on that one? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item on our agenda, thank you again. Next item on our agenda is our city clerk, Kristen Garcia. Do you have anything else you want to share?
I do not, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, then we're going to move on to item 24, and that is going to be taken care of by our city attorney, Tom Trask.
So thank you, Mayor. This is item number 24, consider the clerk's compensation. This is a new agenda item. The background is that in Resolution 2003-07, it provided for an annual evaluation and consideration of the city clerk's compensation. Specifically, the resolution provided if 3 council members answered yes regarding satisfaction performance, the charter official shall receive the same enhancement as all other employees, with such enhancement ratified at the city council at first meeting in November. That's this meeting. In accordance with Resolution 2003-7, 3 council members have responded yes regarding the satisfaction of performance. The merit increase for general employees in the fiscal year 24-25 budget is 2%. The city manager and the city clerk also received a 4% cost of living adjustment that was provided to the general employees as of October 1st. The recommended motion is to approve the same merit increase of 2% for the city clerk as provided to the general employees.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion on giving Kristen Garcia a raise?
Thanks so much, Kristen.
Well deserved.
And congratulations on all of your accomplishments this year.
Yep, great job. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 25.
Thank you. Item number 20.
I wondered if I could say something,
I'll let you speak. Come up to the podium, please, and state your name and your address. I'll let you speak, of course.
especially when it comes to salaries.
Sure.
Rhonda Coy, 317, well, when it's done, 317 Country Club Drive, Oldsmar. I just want to say that you were talking about Kristen as the city clerk, and I'm about town a lot. I'm at all the functions, and I don't think I've attended one function, whether it's going to be at the church handing out food or at the Veterans Park serving off the food trucks, or any place else in Oldsmar, including all of the meetings that she has that Ms. Kristen has not been there, and she's just absolutely awesome, and she deserves much more than what we can give her, but congratulations.
That was very nice.
Thank you for sharing that. That's-
All right,
Item number 25,
Okay.
Mayor, is to consider the city manager's compensation. This is also a new agenda item. The resolution that I read in the presentation relative to the city clerk's compensation is the same for the city manager. Remind you that the merit increase for general employees for fiscal year 2024 through 2025 budget is 2%. And the city manager and the city clerk has also received the 4% cost of living adjustment that was provided to general employees as of October 1st. The recommended motion on this agenda item is approve the same merit increase of 2% for the city manager as provided to the general employees. I would also add that there were at least 3 council members who voted, or provided an answer of yes regarding satisfaction of the city manager's performance.
all right, thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion in the second. Any other discussion on giving Felicia a raise?
Thank you, Felicia, for everything, not just in the past 2 months, but for everything this year, and congratulations on all of your accomplishments and those of your staff as well.
All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
All right, item 26 is council comments, and we're going to start out with Councilmember Katie Gannon, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I am mindful that today is Election Day, and I know that a lot, yeah, surprised, yeah, shocked. I am mindful that many of us would like to go and join our family and friends to learn all of that news. So I will look forward to seeing everyone next week at the Veterans Day ceremony, 11/11 at 11. It's a great opportunity to gather and see everybody. Rhonda, you really said it. Kristen Garcia has been an amazing asset this year, and not just recently, but I think recently she's had the opportunity to really bloom and shine and show some of her additional skills that we had no idea she even had. And I just wanted to say thank you for all of the paper handouts that she and everybody in the Alliance continue to put together. I think it's really important, and I know we will all continue to support her in providing these in paper format, because a lot of people are not on, social media. Even though we have great social media content, having the paper format is incredible. And I also, Rhonda, have seen her handing out food and coordinating events, and I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for that, and so many more things this year. You have really accomplished a lot, and I could not be more pleased to have stolen you from our sister city. Mr. Trask, you failed to mention that this year we also completed assessments of your performance as city attorney, and I just wanted to say thank you for all of the counsel that you have provided us recently, of course, as well as throughout the year. So thank you very much for your continued support of this council, the city, and our staff on all matters, especially now that regulations and compliance are going to be more important than ever. Of course, we don't expect you to be an expert on FEMA, but I know you will know where to go to find the answers when we need them. So thank you. And I gave you all the check marks on that, as well.
I did receive the evaluation from all 5 council members. Thank
Good.
you very much.
I am glad to hear that. So I'm looking forward to next week. Thank you to city staff that keep working so hard to help our citizens recover from these hurricanes and the flash flood. I look forward to more updates and information as it becomes available to us. The communication has been wonderful. Although the news is not always great, the communication of it has been efficient and very helpful, although sometimes heartbreaking. So thank you for all that you're doing. I know that it must be a great fatigue to continue to soldier forward in all of this, but we appreciate you, and we appreciate the ability to then, push out the information you're already providing. So thank you to all of you.
All right, thank you. Vice Mayor Steve Graber.
Thank you, Mayor. Happy birthday to one of my big brothers today. I should probably text him because I haven't yet, but maybe even call him this time.
On election day?
Well, I mean, he can't choose when he was born, Mayor. So, yes, election day it is this year. My nephew's birthday is also Thursday, so happy birthday to him. My wife's birthday, as most of you know, was this past Sunday. We spent entirely too much money at Cracker Barrel, but what she wants, she gets. So, but just a couple events that happen, and I'm aware as well of what's going on tonight, of course, all of us are. But Haunted Happenings was just absolutely awesome. The kids had a blast. We all had a lot of fun being out there. The trunk or treat that I was able to go to, I know there was one at OES, but the one at Forest Lakes Elementary, just all the teachers and all the parents who had decorated their trunks, it was a really good turnout there as well. Lots of events coming up this weekend, just with the Oldsmar Rod Run, which benefits Oldsmar Cares, I believe. So that'll be at RE Olds. Just the talent show is always kind of fun, just to kind of see, like, wow, I didn't know you guys were here, and you have these talents. Like, it's just a fun time. So it's going to be fun to be around that. And then another event, like I said, and as Councilmember Gannon mentioned, is going on tonight. So that's all I had, Mayor. So happy Election Day, everyone.
All right, thank you. Valerie, you're up.
You guys said it all already, I think. That happens. But a thank you to our charter officials. We did get the opportunity to evaluate you, provide suggestions. And thank you for all of your hard work. Not just this year, but previously. I get the privilege as a council member to see a lot of behind the scenes. And it's unique for me this year because I'm a newer council member, so I remember what it was like when I didn't know. All of the work that you're putting in behind the scenes and day to day and outside of normal work hours. And so I just want you to know that I do appreciate all of you. So thank you for that hard work. Echoing what you said, Haunted Happenings was great. It was exciting to see all the trick-or-treaters and to get to hand out candy. So glad that everyone came by. got the opportunity to do the trunk or treat at Oldsmar Elementary, so that was exciting. And I was happy to be part of some normalcy back in the city of Oldsmar. So with that said.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Andrew Knapp.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. Obviously, starting maybe tonight, but through the next couple of days, we'll have probably some new leadership and some of the same leadership at all different levels of government. So on a related note, we met last week for the Ford Pinellas nominating committee, and we will be recommending the following folks for the new slate of leadership for that board. Gina Driscoll, we will be recommending to be the chair. She's from the city of St. Pete. Dave Eggers will likely be the vice chair. Councilmember David Albritton from the city of Clearwater will be treasurer and continue as treasurer. He already is currently serving as treasurer. And then Patty Reed from the city of Pinellas Park will be nominated as secretary. So that'll probably be one of my last outgoing contributions to the service on that board as we hand it over to safety, our counterparts in Safety Harbor. I believe Mayor Joe is taking over for that spot. So looking forward to those that fresh leadership there, and obviously the news that some will know tonight as far as local races go, and obviously the bigger ones we may not know till the wee hours of the morning or next week. So we shall see, and I look forward to the next few hours and probably days of news stream. So that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for your service on that board. Really appreciate it, Andrew. Thank you very much. And thank you for that update, too.
Sure.
On the slew of new directors. I work with Gina Driscoll on the PSTA. She was our chair last year. She's just a treasure to work with.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, she's really, and she's been on that board for a long time, I think, yeah. All right, so I just have a couple things. I wanted to just mention Halloween happenings. We had over 1,000 attendants. The only thing I'm really disappointed is I didn't go on that hayride. Everyone said it was great. The kids were all scared. But that would really, with two major storms, that really brought everyone together. As Valerie mentioned, it was a normal, it felt like we were getting back to normal just a little bit. And Andrew, and I know Steve, you guys were there with the kids, and I think your kids looked like they were having a blast. So
They
that
always
was
do,
good.
you know?
Yeah, so thank you to the city staff for Chip and his team for doing that again. And I did agree, someone mentioned the contest, I think I saw it on the Parks and Rec Board. I watched the video. I agree, I'm glad we didn't do the costume contest. I thought it was better this year without it, because if, remember Katie, when we did it last year, it was kind of, it was like very, the parents were involved, and so I'm really glad we changed it.
They're excited.
Yeah, I'm glad we didn't do that though this year. I attended the Pinellas County Tourism Development Council. They did have a meeting last week, and Barry Burton talked to us, and I just thought this was kind of funny. He talked about the city of Oldsmar, and I mentioned this to Felicia today. That company that didn't show up to to pick up our trash that we fired tonight. He actually brought that up at the meeting, and everyone was like shocked that they didn't show up here in Oldsmar. But I thought I wanted to share that with you. The main topic that he talked about was beach nourishment, getting Clearwater Beach and St. Pete Beach back on track. That was the thing that he did talk about. And the other facts that I learned, what I thought I want to share with council. They have 127 million in capital reserves and 136 million in operation reserves. So that bed tax is a winner for Pinellas County. So we've got to get those hotels back open, and we've got to get those restaurants back open, and so we can get that bed tax going. So I wanted to share that. October 22nd to the 25th, I attended the annual conference for the Florida Redevelopment Association. I wanted to share this little story with you. It was a great, it's for our CRA. It was a great conference. I learned a lot, met a lot of people from around the state. But the takeaway I wanted to share with you, the owner of the Columbia restaurant was the main speaker of the event. Richard Gosmart. He talked about his family history that started in 1905 and how they struggled through the Prohibition and the recession, the Great Recession, just to keep that restaurant going. Now they have restaurants all over the state. He really touched me with his speech, and I wanted just to share that with you. Plus, I attended a bunch of CRA training classes. I also attended my PSC board meeting. Andrew, you're going to like this. The board approved one more electric bus. We got some funding. We got some funding back in August that they approved, so we got another electric bus. But believe it or not, County Commissioner Dave Eckers brought this up, which I thought he was a genius. He brought up the fact about the batteries. I don't know if you saw some of the batteries exploding in the cars. So he brought up the fact that, what about these electric buses? What we learned, the presentation that was done by the PSTA staff was incredible. All the batteries on those buses are on top of the bus. So they don't get wet. They're all sealed. These batteries are really compact and protected from any type of intrusion of water. There's only one battery that's low, that's actually like a electronic battery, but that's not even close to being where it would be flooded. So I thought that was a really great presentation, and I wanted to share that with you. And then on that meeting last night, I just wanted to, I know we're going to have this on our agenda next meeting, but I wanted to congratulate Chip Potts and his team for the Florida Recreation State Conference. I guess the City of Oldsmar got an award, and we'll find out about more of that at our next meeting, but I just wanted to, Chip sounded so proud last night on that video, so I just wanted to say congratulations to the staff and to Chip again. And then last I want to thank Vice Mayor Graber. I cannot attend the Veterans Day ceremony. I need to spend some time with my family, and I appreciate you taking care of that for me, and I'm very grateful for that. I just wanted to say thank you.
You're quite welcome.
All right, and then the last thing I have is, Felicia, all your hard work, thank you, and the city staff for all this flood stuff and all the mitigation stuff. I really appreciate everything. All right, and then last item is 27, approve tentative agenda for the November 19th, 2024 council meeting. Does anybody wish to pull or add anything to that agenda?
No, sir.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I get a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Let's go home and watch the election. Meeting adjourned. Got off easy tonight, Tom.
He gave all of his extras to you.
Blue is what?
He did have to read all those agreements though beforehand. These donation agreements, Dan doesn't have to see it. Or, so I put them in email.
Okay.
I don't read a whole lot, I read a lot, but not a whole lot of sci-fi. But I love
Tom,
the
it's
Boy
in your
Scouts.
eight. Who's not, doesn't want his tickets?